I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Mr. President, we thank the Special Envoy of the UN Secretary-General, Mr. Michel Kafando, and also the Permanent Observer of the African Union, Fatima Mohamed, for their information on the development of the situation in the country. We listened with interest and thanks to the report of the Chair of the Country Configuration of the Peacebuilding Commission, the Permanent Representative of Switzerland, Jörg Lauber. We note the balance line taken by this body on Burundi, thanks to which the Peacebuilding Commission remains one of the channels for trust-based communication with Bujumbura. We think useful the PBC's initiatives to revitalise cooperation with Burundians, stressing socio-economic development in the country and re-establishing donor trust. Based on the information we've received, including from Russian diplomats in Bujumbura, we conclude that the situation in Burundi is calm and demonstrates a trend towards normalization. The improvements in the security sphere are emphasized or evidenced by the significant decrease in the level of violence, including attacks on civilian infrastructure by radical opposition groups. We should also note the beginning process of refugees gradually returning to Burundi from neighbouring states, which was already mentioned by my colleagues. There's been a key event in the political situation in the country in 2018, which is how we consider the constitutional referendum that took place on the 17th of May. This took place in a calm atmosphere with the participation of the vast majority of the Burundian population. We wish to note that support for the change of the constitution was expressed by the majority of voters, 73.26%, and the referendum itself was preceded by a democratic, transparent information campaign. Mr. President, the Russian Federation thinks that the issue of the elections to be held in 2020, presidential and parliamentary elections, is a domestic issue for this country, and any outside meddling here we think would categorically be unacceptable. We encourage the authorities and the opposition to refrain from any mutual negative rhetoric and to concentrate instead on preparing for the electoral cycle, all the more so given the fact that despite the alarmist forecasts of some oppositionists and Western experts, the acting president Pierre Nkurunziza said that he wouldn't take part in this vote. On the issues surrounding the inter-Burundi dialogue, we wish to note that placing responsibility for them only on one side would be counterproductive and even dangerous. We've closely followed and support the mediation efforts of the East African community to renew direct negotiations between the Burundian parties. We also welcome any corresponding efforts carried out with the consent of Bujumbura and for the good of Burundi. On the whole, we are convinced that the situation in Burundi doesn't represent a threat to international peace and security. This allows us the basis to wonder whether it's logical to continue to have this item on the already overloaded agenda of the Security Council. We think that maintaining the Council's attention on Burundi is becoming counterproductive and in essence represents an easy pretext for the implacable opposition to make difficult the domestic processes in that country. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for his statement.